5. Last week we had Lucinda Duncamp from Monotape, which was really cool. Ben worked on getting her in here for a while, and she was definitely dropped some really interesting wisdom on us. Next week we have Justin Rosenberg from Honeygrow, which is a food startup that uses technology in interesting ways, so that should be out of the box for us. This week, on Wednesday, I'll pass some of these around. If you're kind of a sticker person, take one and put it on your mom's bumper without telling her. And people will be like, what's box fuse? Box fuse is like Docker on steroids. What's Docker? I'm not going to tell you. It's all about this new way of shipping code to servers from developer desktops. Basically, it's what's called continuous deployment. It's a big push in the technology space. So our first advisor, Andrew Schwab, is going to do the honors and share that practice. And it's under what we call iSchool, which is a series of educational things, classes, really, at Night Owls. We're trying to raise the game of local developers, give them exposure to stuff that they might not be doing. In that same vein, 3D Printer Bootcamp number 2 is coming up. Not the end of this week, but I think this Saturday, next 2 Saturdays from now. It's our second one. You pay us a fee, you come in, you build a 3D printer from scratch, almost from scratch, and you walk out with it. And you get training from Chad. Chad is not here, and you'll see him, you probably have seen him. He spends a whole day with you, building it, making sure you understand the software, and you print something from the printer you created, and then you go. So we did one already, and we had 6 people. That was our max. We do it downstairs. So we're pretty excited about number 2. We have 3 people signed up, 3 spots left. I'm telling my dad to bring my nieces or one of them because it's great to get exposure. And we took some funding from the CCDC and got trained at NextFab on these things. And then we thought to ourselves, what do we do with this? Do we print out little owls and monsters and paint them and chase each other around the lab with them? Yes, but more important than that, we thought, let's get more 3D printers into Chester County so that when Peter goes over to his friend's house, maybe he has a printer and you get exposure, right? So we put 6 out into Chester County last month. We'll put 6 out, hopefully in August, and do it at least every month. So that's our thing. Chad's also taking 3D printing and electronics and doing an experiment like that. Don't walk too close to it, I don't know what will happen. We have a dog that wags its tail when anybody comes through the door over there. So that's like $20. It is definable as Internet of Things. So we print stuff out, we add electronics, we hook it to the network. It can tell us something in real time. Then you walk through the door, because we wouldn't know that otherwise. So anything else, Ben?
Nope.
Jesse?
Indie Film Night is September 10th, Thursday, September 10th at 7 p.m. Local filmmaker Chris Logan Harley is going to be talking about the 30-second storytelling. He does high-end commercial work and is going to be showing some of his stuff and talking about techniques for storytelling and also kind of visual tips and tricks as well. So that is free, and it is September 10th, Thursday.
Nice. There's Chad. Did the dog wag its tail?
Yep. Yeah, it's
just the tail part.
Yeah, it's the tail.
The dog's right here.
The tail's hanging down by its horse.
It's just
everything works, just not the glue.
Just the tail.
No, wait, no.
All right, so today's speaker is Josh David. Let's give Josh a round of applause for coming down. I think I met Josh through the internet a long time ago, but met him at Philly Forum. I don't know if we met before that. Technology event that was at UPenn. And you guys are well along. You have a good story and a good app. I'm not going to share too much, but the format is to share your story and then let us ask you a bunch of questions. And we're live streaming thanks to Igniter TV, aka Sean Dominski. And I think I made a shout out to I2N or CCDC for kind of helping launch this program. Fox Rothschild 2, Terry's in the house. Thank you, Terry and Fox. And it's all yours.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Joshua David, and I'm the co-founder of Setvi. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my startup, what I'm doing, and also some of the things I've learned along the way and where we are now. So a little bit about myself. I went to Upper Darby High School here, and then I went to Drexel. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 13. I used to be an eBay power seller when I was 15, 16. Selling a lot of things in high school. Learned about profit, loss, and things like that. In high school, I was just buying cell phones online from abroad and like just unlocking and selling them out. Making pretty decent money for a 16-year-old. That's kind of how I got into the world of entrepreneurship. In college, I started doing an internship at a medical device company in Malvern, found a job on Craigslist. It was a summer internship, and then they kind of liked me, and they said, work as many hours as you want during college. So I would go to work in the morning at 7 o'clock, work for like 3-4 hours, go to college, and then come back and work for another 3 hours. So they were really flexible. I learned a lot, and that's kind of where I saw the problem and I'll tell you how we're using Setvi to solve it. So at the internship, I learned a lot, and they really didn't treat me as an intern. They treated me as a part-time employee. I went to Florida for national sales meetings. They paid for my 21st birthday party. It was a lot of fun working there. They really liked me, and I really got to know the CEO, CFO of the company. They're actually my clients now. It was a really interesting story how I emailed them out of the blue, and then they were able to get me a meeting in front of them. But during the internship, I found out that you hit a roadblock in the learning curve almost everywhere you work, and I didn't want that to happen, and I want to do something on my own where it's just a continuous journey of learning. And I started a consulting company in college. And right before graduation, we landed a 6-figure contract with a pharmaceutical company around here, doing mobile apps for them for salespeople. Instead of getting a job, we got our own office and started hiring people. And that's kind of how the consulting company got started. And then I did that for 2 or 3 years, started getting bored of the consulting because you're just doing different random projects. I want to focus on one thing and see how far I can take that. And that's kind of how Setvi was born. So what is Setvi? Setvi is a mobile sales enablement product. And the idea is that we're helping sales, marketing, and IT to be all on the same platform. And then salespeople and marketing can get more efficient. Ultimately, salespeople can have more time in their hand and close more deals. So Setvi has a robust content management system, and salespeople can grab all the content that they need from that platform. It's built for sales, and salespeople can quickly tailor presentations for whoever they're meeting, prospects and things like that. And then they can share with their prospects, see what their prospects doing, get feedback, understand what their prospects doing. So if you email a presentation, you have no idea what's happening with it, right? So with Setvi, you can see that the client opened up the email, where they open up from, are they passing it along to their colleagues, what slide did they spend time on. So this way you can follow up with them quickly and see what's happening. Marketing is creating all these great materials, but they have no idea what's working out in the field, what's not working in the field. So marketing can get an idea of like, okay, these are the top materials that salespeople are using. I'm creating all these videos and PDFs. What exactly is working out in the field? What's my top sales guy using to close deals? So sales leaders are trying to figure out what the salespeople are doing out in the field. Okay, how's my top sales guy closing? How are all the people doing out in the field? How many presentations did happen this week? Most of the time, you're relying on CRM and Setvi. As you're using Setvi, we collect analytics and feed it back to CRM, sales managers, and whoever it is, So that's what we're doing with Setvi. Can you go to the next slide? Ben, can you go to the next slide, please? Yeah. So how did I get started with Setvi? The first thing is team. I think team is one of the most critical things that you need to create a startup. My co-founder Stefan, he went to UPenn, and then we used to work together at Circuit City back in 2008. And we were part of the Fire Dog, fixing computers and things like that. We worked together for 2.5 years, and when Circuit City was going down, I joined the internship with a medical device company. Stefan joined a Berkshire Hathaway insurance company. He kind of faced the same problems, along the way. And Stefan reached out to me randomly. We've been business, working together in terms of I would give him projects. He had a marketing agency. I was doing like IT consulting and IT mobile apps and things like that. So Stefan emailed me out of the blue. He's like, hey, let's get together. So I was like, okay, let's do it today. And then it was a Saturday morning. He emailed me. I was like, okay, let's get together. Let's meet at the diner we usually meet. Let's meet at 12 o'clock. So we met at the diner at 12 o'clock. And then I walk in with my iPad, bunch of paper. And right away, he knew that I was going to pitch him something, right? I've been pitching him ideas for a while, but he'll usually shoot it down saying like, okay, the market's not big. It's a crazy idea. Well, I don't think we can execute it right now. But this idea, we spoke from 12 o'clock in the afternoon till 1 o'clock in the morning. And then Stefan was trying to become a lawyer. He's actually a lawyer. He passed the bar. I don't know how he passed the bar, because during the time he was studying for about, we were actually working on a startup, pitching clients and things like that. And also, we quickly identified what we lack in other skills, so we started finding other co-founders. So basically, we were going to meetups and then, talking to whoever we knew, asking them, hey, we're doing this. Do you know anybody that could, possibly complement what we're doing? There's certain things we don't know how to do, and I think having another person could really help us speed things up. So we found, 3-4 months later, we started talking to people. We didn't offer them anything. One of the hardest challenges, I think, when you're starting a company is that having other people believe in you, your vision, and then working for you full time and without any salary or anything. I mean, you're looking at the longer term, the longer picture here. You're not thinking anything short term, and you barely have any money to pay yourself. So that's really hard, I think. And we were able to convince people to do that for us, and we kind of made some mistakes along the way in terms of picking the wrong people, but you know what? You learn from mistakes, you got to keep moving on. And so we found the team, and then the next thing was building a product. Ben, do you want to? Sure. So the idea of Setvi came when, like I said, I was working for an internship, and I was with sales, marketing, IT, and the challenge was salespeople were always calling saying, I can't find the materials, I don't know how to build a presentation, or the presentation I built doesn't work, whatever. And marketing was complaining, we have this portal, but salespeople, they're not using the portal, they can't. So there was just a big disconnect between sales and marketing, and since I was kind of like, handling the phone calls, I saw the problems every day, every single problem that they were going through. And then IT was like, oh, well, we have the system. It's just sales and marketing. They don't communicate, or they don't have the training. So there was just a big disconnect. So that's kind of where I saw the problem. I wanted to solve that. Stefan had the same problem when he was in the insurance company. He was kind of like in the same position where I was. So he quickly understood the problem, and so we decided to solve, the problem. So the product. The product we're planning to build has been really evolving since we, was from an idea. And first we were planning to just do like a cool presentation app, right? But the cool thing kind of fades away when you go into enterprise or business. What's the value you're bringing to the business? Okay, how is it going to make me more money? That's the question you get. So we started researching about it, we started learning, and then we figured out analytics, is where the biggest key point. But we didn't figure that out along the way. So the product, what we did was we built screenshots. We did screenshots. So we didn't, Stefan was good with graphic design. I loved UI. I learned Photoshop along the way, okay, how do I put the screen together? I was trying to do like mock-ups and things like that, but they really didn't feel like the actual product. So I learned Photoshop. Okay, how do I put this thing? How do I put that thing? Just learn along the way. And we built a prototype using 65 screenshots. And basically, I mean, anybody can do that, right? It's, you can use PowerPoint to create an universal button engine, link it up to another screen. So, pretty much every single UI item in there was linked up to another component. So that's kind of how we were talking to different customers, potential prospects, and saying, okay, would this work for you? Would you pay for something like that? And we actually were able to get a couple clients, they were really interested. And we were able to get a little bit of funding, mid 5 figures, very small funding to just get something going on. And the goal was to build a minimum viable product. You probably hear this all the time, if you're reading online. So the idea of a minimum viable product is that, okay, you're trying to solve this problem. So what are the core features that you absolutely need to build to sell it? And what are the other features that you can hold off on it? And what are the other features that you probably need along the way? So let's say if you're trying to create another email system. So one of the core features would be sending out emails, right? So things like that. So we picked out 3 modules, actually 4 modules, and one was actually not the core thing. We haven't even used that module. But the other core 3 modules, we really worked hard on it. We built some basic prototypes, working prototypes, a small beta, and then one of our clients actually decided to pay for the beta product, which was really, helpful because it's just showing somebody's going to pay for it. You're starting to get traction, the momentum, and then we started getting a couple more clients out of the beta we had. So we told them it's a beta, but they were fine paying for the beta because they saw the value right away in the product. So we raised a little bit of money, and then, we were working crazy hours. I would talk to my friends. They would just complain about the 40-hour weekend. And then I would be like, listen, there are weeks where I'll work 40 hours in less than 2 days. That's the crazy hours, what we have done. But we did that, we did it several times. And one time we did that and we landed an investor the next day. So that was kind of the best rewarding point of working these crazy hours. So we got a little bit more funding, and then we started still building the product, getting a little bit more feedback. And our first enterprise customer was Logitech. And Logitech was just a small division of Logitech. And it was interesting because we started talking to Logitech, and they were more interested in the analytics. But the challenge was we didn't have analytics at that time. It was just, it was what we wanted to get to, but we just didn't have it built out. But we started talking, and we really convinced the person that we are the team for him to he was going to buy another vendor, but he really liked the product, the user interface, and then he was going to give us a chance. So we told him, listen, I have screenshots of how the analytics look like. I showed him the analytics. He gave us, he kind of liked it, and he was like, you know what, I'm going to pay for the product and start using it, and you're going to deliver the analytics in 3 months or 2 months. So we were really excited. And we told him the price point, and he was like, well, that price point per month, I don't know. And we were like, no, that's per year. And he was like, fine, here's my credit card. So that's when we were like, okay, maybe we're undercharging for the product, right? But no, we were in a good pricing point. He's been dealing with a lot of enterprise systems, so he's been spending a whole lot of money. But we got that, and we did deliver analytics. We learned a lot about, with analytics, we just built something basic, and as people started using it, we really started seeing what the dashboards need to look like, what value we're really trying to add. So the product, like I said, build a minimum viable product, try to get customers, keep showing the product to everybody, get feedback, get people to use it. You're going to go talk to big customers, and everybody's going to ask for features. And try to see how serious they are. And if you think you're really going to close on it with a small feature, maybe you can build it. So one of our clients said, this is an absolute feature we need. It's a deal breaker. So I was like, okay, what if I build a feature in 2 weeks? Would you sign up for the product? He was like, yes. So we built the feature in 2 weeks. 3rd week, we got it. And another client, a big client, they actually paid to get the feature built, and we actually gave them license credit for it. So creative ways to solve a problem. If you really want to do something, you're going to figure out a way to do it, right? It's simple as that. So Ben, can you go to the next slide? No problem. So funding. Funding has been challenging, at least in the Philly area a little bit. We haven't gone outside of Philly. We spoke to a couple investors, but we've been really focusing in Philly. We bootstrapped close to $90,000. Just out of college, 2 years, we saved a lot of money. We had a consulting company. So we bootstrapped close to $90,000, and we built something small, started getting a couple customers. Then we had a couple angels that invested in us. The first angel I spoke to, he was like, okay, great, you have a cool product. Who's going to give you the money? And I was like, I don't know, maybe you. And do you have a business plan? No. Do you have a marketing plan? Not really. Okay, how are you going to get customers? We're trying to figure that out. So everything, we were just very early. But we really showed our enthusiasm, passion, vision of the product, and we kind of convinced him. So after we started driving away, he called back in 10 minutes. He was like, listen, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll give you guys the first $30,000 and go figure out the rest of the money. We couldn't raise the rest of the round, so we got one more investor, called it a day, and then started building the product. And then once we hit a certain stage, we started getting we had 2 clients, and then we had a basic product that was working. We showed it to some other investors. They liked it. These guys were angels. So Stefan was actually an intern at this company, and these 3 investors were actually VPs and SVPs of the company. They believed in Stefan. So the first angel people were people that totally believed in us more than the product. It's all about execution, So they believed really in us. So that's kind of how we did our first angel. And then we did raise Ben Franklin money. And that was an interesting story because we almost missed the Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin has cycles, right? So they, every 3 months you got to apply for it. So we've been talking to one person, Ben Franklin, and then he was like, well, it's due tomorrow. And okay, so how are we going to do it? So Stefan calls me from Boston. He's coming from Boston, and 11 o'clock, 11:30 in the nighttime, he called me. He was like, hey, listen, Ben Franklin's due tomorrow. I think we can do it. And I was like, are you sure? I mean, I'm looking at the application. I mean, this is a pretty long application. It's a full-size business plan. He was like, no, let's figure it out. I think we can do it. Going back to the team a little bit, you got to trust your co-founder. If somebody says, they're going to do it, or, you got to trust me, we can do it together. Just trust them, even if you have your doubts. There are a lot of places where you're going to have doubts along the way, but, sometimes you got to believe in what they're saying. So I drove at 12 o'clock, picked them up at 30th Street Station at 12:30, and then we went to a diner. We started working there till like 2:30 in the morning. And then we couldn't just keep sipping water and whatever, keep sitting there for a while. We didn't have an office at that time, right? So, but there was this building. I went to Drexel. There's this building in Drexel where the alumni can get in and work. And we were like, okay, let's go check out the building. It might be open, right? So we went there at 2:45 in the morning, and then door was open, so we went in, we started working there. So we started working till 5:30, no, actually 6:30 in the morning. I wear contacts, so my eyes were getting really dry. It was kind of sticking to my eyes, really red. And I was like, listen, I got to at least take my contacts. I need a couple hours of sleep. Stefan can keep going for a while. I mean, I just can't do that. So I drop him off, I go back home, I sleep for 3 hours, then he comes back to the office. Not really an office. We were working at the Science Center. So Science Center, the nice thing about Science Center is on the right side, you can pay $1,600 for an office, or if you get early in the morning, you can get an office. And it's not an office, more like a co-working space for free. So the thing is that you got to somebody has to be there at 8:30 in the morning. So one of the co-founders went there every day at 8:30 in the morning, and we worked there for 6 months. So we both went there at 10:30 in the morning. We're all working together on this plan. Everybody's sharing different parts of the application. And finally, at about 6:30, we were almost done. It was about 53 pages long. And then if you read that, it said that you can email, you get to print it out and hand deliver, the copy, right? So 6:37 Friday night, we're trying to figure out, okay, anybody have a printer? Nope, nobody has a printer. We can We got to figure out a way. I mean, I can't even get in Drexel library because my card doesn't work or anything. So we went to FedEx Kinko's at like about 8 o'clock. We were first trying to buy a printer at Staples, but you know, we just went to Kinko's at 8 o'clock. And this person, he was just complaining about his life the entire time. He just hated his job. He didn't want to be here on a Friday night, and he's got to like do all his deadlines. And then we're like, hey, we have another deadline. It's just due today. Can you help us out? And finally, after sweet talking to him for like 30 minutes, he finally said, like, okay, fine. You know what? I'll print that to you and give it to you guys. So he starts printing, and then finally about like 10:15 or 10 o'clock, he got it done. Great, we're gonna drop it off in the city. Nope, you gotta drop it off in Navy Yard, right? So now 10 o'clock, we're in hoodies, you know, we haven't shaved in like a couple of days, eyes are red, you know, completely tired. We're driving to Navy Yard and the security guy won't let us in, right? He was like, nope, you know, what's your purpose of the visit? So finally, you know, again, got a sweet talk to the guy. Listen, this is our life. You know, I'm going to give it to you. Can you? He's like, no, I'm not going to take anything. And finally, he let us in. We go in. There's no mailbox. The building is locked. So we're like, okay, I see two cars here at 11:30. This is probably, or 11 o'clock. This is probably the cleaning person. So once somebody comes out, you stand in the other room. I'm going to stand in this door. And when somebody comes out, we're going to get in, put it in there, and run back. 11:55, nobody came out. We were just trying the call box, see if we can get in, but no, nothing worked. And then finally, we emailed a digital copy, sent up pictures, and said, like, where's the mailbox? Let us know. We'll drop it in. And then finally, they were like, just give it to us tomorrow, whatever. You know, it's not a. But you know, we came back to Keys and Pete's. We had a good time laughing about this. We went through. You know, we went through the whole process, and you know, we did get funded. So that's kind of how Ben Franklin worked, and along the way, we got several angels that's been really helping us out. We're closing another round of funding right now, and then to get ready for the venture capitalists. So that's kind of the goal with the company. So customer sales. So like I said, we started selling the product when it was in beta. People are willing to pay for it, and so what I'm going to recommend is the first 10 to 12 customers, try to sell that on your own, because you would actually understand what some of the objections that you're getting from the customer on why they're not buying the product. And if you're building a product, you can actually quickly fix it or whatever it is. You can kind of solve the problem. What we did was we tried hiring somebody, let him take the fault, but we kind of figured out along the way that, okay, we need to go sell to, everybody needs to sell in a startup. And so we started getting the first 10 to 11 customers. And we started talking to everybody. And channels was one of the best ways that it's been working for us. You know, inspiring somebody to like make you the introduction or showing them the product, they get excited about it. So one of our larger customers was actually referred by the Apple business team in Philadelphia. They were actually it's actually a large company, about 48,000 employees, and they're everywhere, almost every city. And they went to Apple, and then Apple was like, we don't have a solution for you, but the startup was doing something cool in Philadelphia. I cannot make the recommendation, but he kind of did like a hint that, you know, you might want to talk to them. So we started talking to these people, and they were really excited that we were a startup, and then they liked our vision, solving a lot of problems that they are looking for. And one of the features that they asked, we didn't have that, right? And but the feature was kind of challenging too. It was so the idea was that you can use iPad to broadcast to multiple iPads to doing presentation, but the thing is that it does not involve any kind of server, any internet connection, and it's got to work seamlessly, and they needed that. And before they were using GoToMeeting and WebEx to do that, but the problem was that it really relied on the hotspot or internet connection. So the screen would freeze up, and you know, like you can't stream HD videos. It was really challenging. So we built a really innovative technology. So before I talk on that, I'll tell you how we got this client. And so we started talking to them, and we're a startup, we're really small. They had our doubts on us, see if we could actually deliver. And Srini, who's another co-founder, he went to he went to SAP in Westchester. He was working on the CRM division. He didn't like the whole corporate environment, and then we've been talking for a while, and I finally convinced him, listen, you got to join a startup. I've straight up told him, like, listen, you're getting good pay, you're getting all the benefits, the whole deal. In a startup, it's less pay, more hours, and then it is risky. But I promise it'll be the best time of your life. And finally, he started working part-time, and we were able to afford him full-time. And then he joined in before we started the company. I usually go tell Srini all my ideas and things like that. And usually he'll be like, we can do it, crazy idea, not now, but whatever. And I was like, remember all the ideas I've been telling you? I think this thing tops everything, And the thing is that I actually almost sold it to the customer, so you got to deliver it for me to actually sign the contract. So he's like, when do you need to buy? And I was like, it's Friday, and I'm meeting with them on Monday. So he's like, okay, tell me about the idea. He's like, I was like, well, they want to have one iPad to broadcast the other ones. He's like, that doesn't sound too hard. And I'm like, yeah, I know. There's no internet connection. It's like, okay, it's challenging now. There's no server. There's no router. There's nothing. It's just iPad to iPad. He was like, okay, I'm assuming you got something going on because you wouldn't come up with a crazy deadline. I was like, yes, I did my research. Apple's got this multi-peer technology, and there's iBeacon. I think if we mash up both of them, I think we can do something. So Srini starts working on Sunday morning, and then Sunday evening he's like, I got a prototype. And basically, he exactly did with the sample code I gave him and sample code I showed him. And so we were able to show a prototype. So when we went to a client on Monday, we were trying to convince them why they should trust us, but we also said, we actually have a working prototype of the concept we told you. So we had one iPhone and then 4 iPads, and we basically said, okay, the iPhone's going to broadcast saying there's a presentation, and then the iPads are going to see there's a presentation using multi-peer iBeacon technology. They're going to connect in and then switch to Wi-Fi to talk to each other. It was working pretty well, and that pretty much kind of paved the way to get the second big customer, and then they actually advanced us the money for the feature, and then we actually gave them license credit for the feature, and we're actually expanding now in different parts of the company. The other customers, I was an intern at the company, right? So people thought I was an innovative guy. They always came to me for problems. I would just come up with a solution. So I reached out to the people that I helped as an intern. So what I did was I met this person randomly. He used to be the marketing manager of the company. And then I was like, listen, remember the problem you were having? I'm actually solving it right now. And I showed it to him, and he was really impressed with what I was doing. And he decided to join us as a channel partner. And he's been getting his customers. He actually got the most number of customers for us. And he knows the domain, the medical device space, and so he's really helping us tailor the product. And we kind of think that that'll be our sweet industry we can get in right now. And then, so going back to the other company I used to be an intern at, I emailed the CFO with NVIDIA. I was like, hey, I'm not sure if you remember me, but Josh, intern, worked, I kind of spoke to you a couple times. Here's what I'm doing. Sent him a quick video. And then he clicked on the video, saw it, and he was like, Josh, this is awesome. I think this will be great for us. And they actually started a new company. They raised about $40-50 million or whatever. And so they're just hiring their first set of salespeople. And he brought me into the meeting, and he scheduled with the CEO, VP of marketing, all the big guys. And the cool thing was, in my whole time working there in the company for 2 years, I've probably spoken to the CEO for 2 minutes. So this was sitting in the conference room for 45 minutes, just talking to him. It was just an amazing experience. 3 years ago, I'm just trying to move printers around and 3 years later, I'm sitting in a conference room with them trying to discuss a deal, like how we can get this thing going on. But these guys respected me, and they didn't think like, oh, Josh was just an intern. He didn't know what he was doing. They really believed in me, gave the opportunity, and then we still had to go through. Once they passed it on to marketing, marketing did see all the other products around and then see how we ranked, and they were the ones that said, this feature is a deal breaker to me. And then I was like, what if I deliver in 2 weeks, would you sign up? And that was pretty much how we got them as a client. So many different ways, get a client, talking to people, referrals, just reaching out. I was actually here for my first event listening to Bill Adley, co-founder at iPipeline. They just got bought out. And I was trying to figure out a way to see if this product would fit in insurance. And I was trying to see somebody who knew the insurance industry very well. And iPipeline is a company I saw a very long time ago, and I was like, maybe I should talk to somebody at that. And I saw him talking here. And in my mind, I was like, okay, so what are the chances of me actually coming to the event, getting a meeting with him, and then seeing if they fit in? And 10 minutes before he was supposed to leave, I spoke to him. He ran out, gave me a business card, said, let's talk. Then I met with him 3 weeks later. He introduced me to another person. So we kind of have a high level, okay, this might work in the insurance industry. And you just got to think creatively to figure out ways to meet people and then just ask for it. Worst case, they'll say no, but got to keep trying. I think I have a last slide. Last one, determination. I think if you really want to do something, you're going to figure out a way to do it. I think that's kind of the most thing that's been driving me. If I really want to do something, I've been really figuring out a way to do it. If not, I'll just going to give myself excuse on why I'm not going to do it. The Ben Franklin story is a great example of, Stefan said we can do it. We were all determined to get it done. We got it done. And there are so many stories like that I've seen throughout my the startup phase where, another example is Srini. Okay, I told him hey, we got to get this done to get this customer. He was determined to get this thing done for us. He got it done in a day. We closed it. We all worked together to make it happen. There's going to be very high highs in startup and very low lows. Some days you close 2 customers. The other day, the investor said no. So you're going to have your ups and downs, but as long as you're really determined to succeed and get the goal, I think you can really go forward with it. It's just gonna be a lot of hard work, but listen, if it was easy, then everybody would be doing it, right? So that's pretty much it.
All right, thanks a lot, Josh.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
Sure.
I think I heard some of the key kind of lessons that I've heard over the last 80. I like the idea of having totally unreasonable goals. I mean, your partner kind of stayed with you even though you threw stuff into on his desk that was ridiculous. So what allows you to be so audacious? What is it?
I feel like we still haven't completely solved the problem, and we're really focused on solving that. So whatever it takes to solve that, and we've been trying different things, and we want to use it ourselves. And we think a lot of things that we're trying to build would be really useful for us and for the other customers. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing people coming up trying to do what we're solving, but nobody has really solved it. So I mean, it's really driving us to keep pushing forward to make it happen.
So do you consider yourself a really empathetic or empathic? I never know which one of those to use, but are you feel the pain of lost opportunity for these customers that if they just had this thing, boy, would they be better off?
It's you're walking in and you see somebody using a really old technology or a really old way of doing things, right? And then you're like, oh my God, only if they had this technology, it could make them so much more, easier, efficient. And that's the same thing I'm seeing with all the business. And I'm going in and I'm like, wow, you guys are such a big corporation. I can't believe that this small thing you haven't solved, which we're solving and we're using it. So that's what really wants us to make it help other people.
Okay. So if you have a question, house rule name, tell us something about yourself, and ask your question.
Hello, Janelle Snyder. I'm the founder of Snyder Law. So I am doing a lot of work with legal. Basically, I provide legal. So every business needs legal help. Like yours, every business needs sales and marketing help. So how did you find an industry to start in, and are you focused on a particular industry, and how do you make that decision?
It took us a while to figure out the industry. I think after getting a couple investor rejections, we kind of saw that we got to start focusing. The product fits in so many different industries, but the challenge with that is you can actually waste your money trying to satisfy every single customer and like win every single industry. So we kind of laid out all our first initial customers and saw which customer really benefits from the product, and then the first thing, we just want to got every 10 customers, right? All different industries, and which ones do we really satisfy the need, and which customer with what we have, you know, it's kind of like a done product. We don't need to build anything more. There are some industries that we need to build much more than what we have. So, and also, who do we know in the industry? Do we have a lot of contacts in the industry that we can use? So that pretty much all tailored down to like, okay, this is the industry we're going to go after. And that's kind of how we landed on medical device industry. Yeah, so. All right.
Steve Ritchie, I'm one of the advisors here, mostly do marketing work. You mentioned just that you're in contact with angel investors. You've obviously not run a lot of startups. You don't have a lot of experience finding
Sure.
those. How did you venture into finding those angel investors?
The first couple, I think, are hard, and usually they have friends that know people. And then also, I started talking to other people that have done it before, like Rick Nucci, Bob Moll, and asking them, okay, who are the other angels around here that could possibly work? And also, if you go to a lot of networking events, when I say networking events, you gotta be careful. There's so many out there, but one's focused towards startups because a lot of investors go to that meeting, try to scout out which startup might be coming up and things like that. And then at some point, you start building relationship with people, not necessarily investors, but other co-founders. And then, one of the founders introduced me to somebody else. He was like, "Hey, investor, thanks for your time. I know my startup's not the right fit for you, but I think Josh's startup might be a fit." So he made the introduction. Seeing who other angels have. If you go to Crunchbase, right, you can see what angels have invested in other startups. So you can see, okay, these are the people that I ideally want to meet. Let's see if they come to any events and things like that. Get an opportunity, start talking to them. Don't pitch like on the first thing. Just talk to them, understand them, build a relationship, and then try to get a meeting. Usually like 2-3 meetings or 2-3 phase. Sometimes I straight up ask them, hey, can I get a meeting? Or somebody will introduce me and say, I think you should meet with this person. And they would take a meeting because it's coming from them. So that's kind of how we build it.
All right. Dan?
How'd you meet your co-founders? I remember meeting you guys at the Signature event, I think last year for the first time. How did you meet each other?
So we both used to work at Second City.
Okay.
And then we kind of connected back after like 4 or 5 years. We started on, and then trying to see what he was doing. He kind of had the same problem I was going through, so that's kind of how we mutually connected. Said we kind of agreed to do this, and we found other co-founders by going to meeting events and things like that.
Hi, I'm Jessica Pearsall, Special Events Coordinator here at the lab. You had a lot of success connecting with people who are a lot older than you or a lot more experienced than you as an intern.
Sure.
I feel like not every intern is going to walk into a situation like that and be able to like dazzle everyone and create sort of long-lasting impressions and relationships. Mm-hmm. And it's probably hard to reflect on this, but like what did you do to foster those relationships with people so much more experienced?
I was just helping people, not looking for anything in return, to be honest. The first thing, just generally helping them out. I mean, I didn't know anything was going to come out of it, but you never know. They usually liked me because if they gave me a problem, I kind of put my best effort to solve it. Tried many different things, and then finally told them like, hey, this is not going to work. Maybe this will work. Just gave it my best shot, and they generally appreciated that. asked for something, later on, and they gave me a chance. So that's kind of how it works. So.
What's going on with iPipeline? Were you able to turn that into an opportunity?
So one of the people, he's trying to evaluate to see if this will work. We're trying to find if we can find a client that will be willing to try it out and give us feedback and things like that.
One of their clients?
Yeah, one of their clients. It's a long work in progress, but it's just a starting point.
Yeah. Well, that's the second piece of software or company out of not out of Walnut Street Labs, but that met Bill from the lab that is working with iPipeline. So it's pretty cool for me to know that the ecosystem is working to connect together. So I hope it works out, and now they're hopefully capitalized more. He had a great presentation. I remember his last slide was burn the ships or something like that. Like go for it, 100%.
Yeah.
So what is the signal to you to start a new project or continue to go? How much runway do you have before you have a terminal decision? How does an entrepreneur?
So we plan it for the next 3 to 4 years, 3 years at least, on what we want to do, and we want to hit that. Everything comes after that, selling the company out, like taking anything or adding more products. For the first 3 years, we have a sales number. Here are the things we want to do in terms of the product, and we're just fully focused on that. So I mean, we do have an exit strategy depending on how we have multiple ideas on what we have to do. If let's say we're at this stage, here's what we're going to do. At this stage, we're going to do this. So we have like multiple ideas on what we want to do, but we're not there at that stage yet.
But your outlook is 5 years. Like you have or 4, whatever you said.
3 to 5 years. Big vision.
People were almost embarrassed for him when they would say, "Hey Rick, nice to see you. What you still working on that thing booming?" After 5 years, and he'd say, "Yeah." And then in 7 years, he sold it. And so there's sometimes a perception that things happen in a year or 2, but
it just takes a long time. I mean, if there's one that's happening, there's like thousands that doesn't happen like that. You got to stick to reality and like keep going on. Yeah, simple as that. So.
Okay. I don't know if you mentioned this, but the product feature of doing it to browsers. Did you talk about that feature?
So right now it's mobile based. So we focus first on make iPads only, and we're doing like a web-based version that also runs offline. So pretty much it works on any device. So this way we can cater to like much larger miners and don't have to like just be restricted to iPad only.
Yeah, it's got big implications for training or offsite training or out in the field.
The training is not that bad. We actually have somebody, doctor in user experience as an advisor, and he was actually really helping us tailor the product. And I remember him like emailing New Year's Eve and like asking, "Hey, I tried the product out. These are things that's doing bad. You got to fix this." So he's been really helping us. And then I think the biggest test was we actually have a client in Mexico, so I actually went to Mexico. It was really challenging because I don't know the language, I don't know the culture. I look like a Mexican, so people would just come and talk to me and be like, "I don't know what you're saying." But anyway, we kind of translated that using Google Translate. Don't do that. I mean, 80% is right, the other 20% is like funny. They had like somebody else helping us out with it, but we did like a very small training, and they were just able to just keep using it. So we had like a lot of hints in the product. So if you're landing on this screen, it'll tell you what is the next things you can do on here. So we built it really simple, we think, but you still need some kind of training to just get started right away. If you don't want to fumble around.
Okay. Any other questions?
Well, what gets you excited about the future of your company, the experiences that you've had thus far, kind of amalgamated to who you are today? What gets you excited?
I think growing is pretty fun. Growing the company is pretty fun. You're growing yourself, you're growing the company, the product's growing, getting more customers. My uncle was the Logitech Bluetooth speaker, UE Boom. They're actually one of our clients, and he was actually using it. I was like, hey, those guys are actually a client. It's really exciting to say that. And then this building we're walking into, that building's actually managed by our client. It's really cool to like see something you're helping the client, and then, there was another client that was actually trying to sell a product, and they're actually using Setvi to sell that product, and it's nice to see out open. So.
All right, thanks a lot. Thanks for coming.